D-Lo 404 Boxing. So the story of the hour seems to be that Anthony Joshua extended an olive branch to Tyson Fury, saying that he would be willing to come in and spar Tyson Fury and help Tyson Fury get ready for his February 22nd matchup with Deontay Wilder. AJ also says that he feels that should Tyson Fury beat Wilder, Fury is more likely to face him than Deontay Wilder is. Okay? And with that being said, he extended the invitation. Fury later on said he hopes AJ isn't kidding, and he accepts his invitation to come to camp and spar with him, help him train for Deontay Wilder. I have a lot of problems with this. The first thing I will say is that I don't have a problem with it on the grounds that I think that these two guys working together in tandem to prepare Fury for the fight it has nothing to do with whether or not I feel like it'll help Tyson Fury be victorious against Deontay Wilder. That's the furthest from my mind. Okay? My problem with this is that regardless of the outcome between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and I'll go ahead and in full disclosure say, I expect Tyson Fury to lose to Deontay Wilder via knockout, regardless of who's in his corner, regardless of who he spars with, regardless who the referee is, regardless who the judges are, regardless of who walks to the ring first, regardless of the venue, whatever. Now that said, I felt the same way in the first fight, and I was wrong by 1 second. Okay? But my issue is that regardless of how the fight plays out between Wilder and Fury, Joshua and Tyson Fury have this big domestic rivalry that is manifesting itself into a showdown that is going to be big in the UK regardless of what happens in their respective careers, before the fight happens. AJ could lose again, Tyson Fury could lose, and that fight still will be big. You know, you have a story, and the first story is that Tyson Fury was the guy who beat Vladimir Klitschko and held all those belts, and then lost them when he was suspended, and then AJ picked up all of his titles one by one. So, in essence, he was the guy who became the champion because Fury was no longer in the sport to be the champion of those three sanctioning bodies. Okay? So that fight is always going to be big in the UK and maybe globally. But the issue is that these guys are going to fight each other, and I'm hoping this happens sooner than later because they're at the top of their division. You know, they may not be 1 and 2, but they are top 4 on everybody's, basically on anybody's poll. These guys are top 4, top 3 heavyweights. Probably top 3. And they need to fight each other at some point. And that needs to be sooner than later. So why would you go into a spar? Why would you be willing to spar a guy that you could be fighting in your next fight or your very next fight after that? And if you believe what AJ is saying, you would think that he wants to fight the winner of the fight, and that he thinks that if Fury is the winner, he'll fight AJ before Wilder would. So if you plan on fighting this guy in your next fight, or your fight after that, or your fight after that, it doesn't make sense for you guys to be sparring each other right now. And I know they supposedly sparred when they were younger, early in their careers, but right now, when you're on this level, you're not typically sparring a guy that you plan on fighting anytime soon. That just doesn't really happen. Guys have sparring partners who things shake up in the rankings, and next thing you know, they're looking at, hey, you guys should be fighting. Or you have guys that are in the same, under the same trainer, like take for instance, Dane Jacobs and Derevyanchenko, where both were trained by the same trainer, and then due to the rankings with the sanctioning bodies, they will fight for a title. They will fight for a vacant title. So they had to go their separate ways as far as one kept the trainer, one didn't for that fight. and those guys had sparred many rounds. But you don't go out seeking to train and spar with a rival that you haven't fought yet and know that you should be fighting soon. That just doesn't, to me, that doesn't make sense. But be that as it may, these guys are trying to team up and work together to see if they can't dethrone the guy that sits atop the heavyweight division right now. You know, he's the only one. He's the only one sitting there who's defended this title multiple times and still holding the championship, still holding the belt. AJ just became champion again. Fury lost all his titles when he got suspended. So you're talking now. I know he's supposedly the lineal champion, and I guess that's what everybody's going with. So I'll call him lineal champion. So Fury sits as the lineal champion, but even if in that regard, he's only defended that lineal championship. He's defended it 5 times. Twice before Wilder and twice since Wilder. So in my estimation, in my opinion, Wilder sits as top in the division right now. So the 2 guys who sit below him are going to work together to try to see if they can't beat him. That's hilarious. That's something I'm not familiar with having seen happen in recent history in boxing, but maybe it has. Maybe it just escaped me. But that's all I got to say on it. This D-Lo 404 boxing. I look forward to seeing how this thing plays out and see if it actually comes to fruition, or maybe it's just talk right now and that's all it ever materializes into. It's more talk. But it's good for conversation right now because it's definitely a story. Again, D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe to Marlo's Corner 2. Shout out to those fellas. Shout out to the LDBC. I'm out. Peace.